Hi there, today I'm showing you my full process on how I made this anniversary card for my friend's 50th wedding anniversary. I gilded and embossed everything myself and painted the painting using watercolor and gold leaf. So I'm starting out by stamping Simon Says Stamp flower stamp, and it's called Beautiful Flowers, and I'm using my Tim Holtz stamping platform. The ink I'm using is by Ink 3, and it's the jet black waterproof one, and I'm using this faux gold leaf, and it's really great because it comes in a pack of 3, gold, copper, and silver. And it comes in this really cool plastic case. So I'll leave links for these things on Amazon or wherever, so if you'd like to check those out. And I'm also using golden watercolor ground here to attach the gold leaf to the watercolor paper before I start painting it. So what I'm doing here is I've just put a little bit of the watercolor ground, it's white, onto the craft mat there. And I put a little down, and then I take a tiny little piece of the gold foil and I stick it down onto that. And then I take the white ground and I sort of push it around into where I want the gold leaf to be. I just want the flowers to be kind of tipped with it, encrusted with it, if you will. And then I just put the ground, I sort of seal it in, I put it around the edges. And sometimes I cover up the whole gold leaf with it. But that will mean that the paint will go over top of the gold leaf and it will be a less shiny effect. And then some parts I leave the gold leaf with no ground on top, and then it's really, really shiny. So you should know, if you're using faux gold leaf rather than 24 karat real gold, you need to seal your project after it's done because it will tarnish. That won't happen with real gold leaf, but real gold leaf is much more expensive. So I've got my paints out here in my little porcelain containers. I'll leave a link for those to Amazon if I can. And I'm using Daniel Smith colors. Green Apatite in particular, which I love, and I think I have some jadeite on there as well. And the brushes I'm using are just the cheapest kind, Artist Loft from Michaels, and the watercolor paper is sort of mid-range. I think it's Strathmore pre-cut watercolor sheets in like a card size. So I'm just painting the watercolor on, and I'll just let you watch that part. So here I'm taking out my rose palette. I love this palette so much, and I just basically have a bunch of different rose and pinks and red colors that I put in here for all my pink flowers basically. So I'll leave a link to that palette on Amazon. You can get it there if you like it as much as I do. And I'm just taking that pink and I'm running it around the gold leaf on the sides. So and as I said, the middle part of the gold leaf that's not covered with the sizing will really shine through, but the parts that have the sizing on it, that are painted over it, the gold will sort of meld underneath the pink, so it like incorporates really well. So I wanted the pink in the flowers to have a very sort of opaque baby pink feel. So I took out my Kuretake white watercolor here, and I mixed a little bit of that in with the pink, and that creates a really nice baby sort of cotton candy pink color. And then in the shadows, I'm taking a deeper sort of magenta color and running that in the shadow areas. And for the center of the flowers, I'm using a brown mixed with like a gamboge or an orangey gold color with a little bit of yellow in there for the centers. And then after that, I end up going with my sparkly gold paints to go over and give a little bit of, to bring that gold leaf out into the flowers and sort of to make it meld a little better. Okay, so now I have beautiful flowers that have pieces of gold in it, but I want to make it, the gold sort of recede into the flowers and look like it's encrusted and it's part of the flowers. So I take out my Fine Tech golds here, and I'm just dotting that gold around the edges of the gold leaf, and that really just brings the gold leaf out sort of into the flower, and it makes the gold leaf feel like it's a part of the flowers. Then I just took the very sort of white gold and put a little bit of that into the leaves just to make sure that it's all cohesive, and it's a pretty blingy piece, but that's the way I wanted it. Now I have my Sigma white gel pen, which is a pigment ink, so it's opaque, and I'm just going over the edges of the flower to bring them out. See how it's bringing out the under petals of those leaves? And these details really, if you've gone really wild and crazy with your watercolors, these details can really bring back the crisp clarity and really bring back the fact that it brings a little more realism back to it. Okay, so now I'm working on the inside of the card, and I'm gold embossing these Persian motifs, and that's a Altenew stamp called Persian Motifs, and there's another one that's like a more solid stamp too. I can't remember the name of it, but you'll see what it looks like. And I'm using Simon Says Stamp Gold Fine Gold Embossing Powder and Ink on 3 clear embossing ink. You could also use VersaFine stamp for that if you'd like. I'm using a Simon Says Stamp Happy Anniversary stamp in the middle there, and I'm using Simon Says Stamp Rose Gold Fine Embossing Powder, but you could use any kind you want. I'm just posting this video so that you can see the color combinations and maybe an idea to do yourself. Like, you can make any gold embossing on the inside of the card like this. I just wanted it to have a cohesive look, so I also do this on the green envelope. I put a couple of these motifs to tie everything in together, and it's just a really nice presentation when you tie the outside and the inside of the card to what's on the envelope as well. Okay, so I also have this little stamp that I like making on the back of my cards. It's by the ton, and it basically says, "This card was handmade with love, so keep it in your underwear drawer forever." And there's 2 little pairs of underpants. How adorable is that? So that's one of my favorite little whimsical funny things I like to put on the back of my cards. And I know people like it because they always laugh at that and really get a kick out of it. Okay, you didn't see this part, but that gold paper I embossed with my Cricut and a little embossing folder that came in a Simon Says Stamp. I think it was a June card kit. And I paired that with blush paper with gold confetti and then some matching paper from the same set. I want to make a banner for the happy anniversary. So I just use this piece of blush with a gold stripe, and I stamp out happy anniversary. And you don't see it, but I just go and cut it with scissors, basically, well, my X-Acto knife, and I cut a little banner out of it, and I just wanted to place it behind my cut out flower painting. And I cut out these flowers on my Scan and Cut 2 machine. That was very easy. So I'm just taking some tape runner here and figuring out how to put this on in a pleasing way. I had that planned out from the beginning. And I just tilt up the flowers like that and put the banner behind it. And then magically you're going to see I go off and I cut the ends off the flowered part. I just turn over the card on its front and use an X-Acto knife to cut off the ends. So here I'm going for a little more bling on the inside of the card. I took out the rose gold embossing powder again, and I'm just embossing a solid, it's that Persian motifs set again, and I just love the look of this. So I'm mixing the plain gold with the rose gold, and I just think that really looks lovely together. So here we are at the end. Here's the finished card. I glued some little pink shiny sequins on there for a little more bling. And so I gave it to my friends on their anniversary, and they were so happy with it. Here's the card open, so you can't see what I wrote, but I also did a little doodle of me and, well, my little Scotty dog Sherlock at the bottom, because they're actually Scotty breeder friends of mine. So there's the embossing on the inside, and the little cute note on the back, which they got a little kick out of. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope it gave you some ideas for a card of your own, and maybe some new techniques to try with watercolor and gold embossing and gold leaf. So thanks so much for watching. Drop me a like, subscribe if you care to. You can follow me on Instagram at Andy Designer. And have a great day, guys. Bye.